Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to a weekly COT review. Today we're going to be analyzing the 24th Commitments of Traders report of 2025, and as we always do, we're going to start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials net positions. Of course, this is the most popular data set that you can analyze, but we have, of course, everything available to you. There are multiple report types that CFTC publishes from the Commitments of Traders data. We're analyzing the Classic today that has the longest history of COT data. It's simple. It breaks down open interest into three main trader categories. We've got commercials who are hedging their normal business activities in the markets. We've got, of course, large and then small speculators. If you want, you can actually go further, deep dive into who's trading these markets and how they're positioning themselves. If you go towards a disaggregated traders in financial futures or commodity index traders COT report type, but in this and these reviews, I'd like to keep it simple. So Platinum is on top of our list with a 25% change in commercials net position. This is a bearish COT change signal. If you look at the chart over here, you can see that the size by which they've shifted their net positions is greater than average. It's, of course, the reason why it's on top of the list. It is a bearish COT change signal suggesting weakness coming in the next few days. We've already seen signs of that weakness. Moving to a 5 years chart, with this movement, we are actually getting closer to bearish COT extreme levels. If you just look at this horizontal line, if I just place it on the current net position reading over there around 35,000 contracts net short for commercials, you can see that there's only a few places in time when we had a greater bearish COT extreme in Platinum. So that's something we should keep in mind. We understand, of course, that overall metals have been doing pretty well recently, but we are seeing little signs that we may actually be reaching a top. We may see lower prices coming, and that's definitely what we see from Platinum. Both the change analysis, the COT change analysis, and the COT extreme analysis points downwards. By the way, if you are new to COT analysis, then don't forget that COTBase.com offers you a lot of educational material. So just come here to On COT and scroll through all the materials. We have different resources, recommendations on books. We've got some great videos on the site, but also if you would like just to scroll over the content on our YouTube channel, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And lastly but not least, I'd like to open or draw your attention rather to our wonderful deals that is going on, the summer deals, bringing you great prices on our most popular services. But back to the review and moving on to our next market, which will be heating oil. Here we have a 22% change in commercials net position. If we move to the 1 year chart, you can see the magnitude of this change. It is a bearish COT change signal. Definitely top 5, I would say. You can see these larger than average changes in the past. We had a bearish change signal over here. There was already a decline, so not necessarily the best point in time getting this signal. The one we have right now is actually better because we are getting the signal opposite the direction of the price movement. Now, of course, with all the tensions going around with Israel attacking Iran, I draw your caution to, just blindly acting on this bearish change signal. Of course, it could potentially affect the market in the near term. However, tensions are growing and that could affect energy prices. Here we have a similar size change, but in the opposite direction, bullish change signal, an effective one pushing the market higher. So it seems like heating oil is a market where COT change signals may actually be efficient. Moving to a 5 year chart, you can examine the stress level in the market. The last major COT extreme was actually the end of last year. That was a bullish COT extreme that was successful in the sense that it could push prices higher. However, since then we saw prices coming down. Now, right now, as we are standing, you can see on this 5-year chart that we're pretty much in between the two extremes, the most bearish one on the chart from 2023, the most bullish one, as I said, the end of last year. So not too much from COT Extreme analysis, really. It's just the change signal. But once again, with regard to the tensions building up in the Middle East, I'd be cautious to just blindly take a signal like that. Palladium is our next market. Here we have a 19% change in commercials net position. Once again, a bearish change signal. We've seen actually Palladium come down in the past few days. This change signal suggests we could see further weakness. Moving to a 5-year chart, you can see that the extreme analysis doesn't really point either to a bullish or a bearish signal right now. So Palladium is not as strict with us as platinum. However, I'd like to pause for a second and just show you our own unique indicator, the iCOT Intraday Indicator, that starts with the scores lines. This is basically like a COT index. Measures stress in the market, very, very useful. And then we can add signals that read these scores lines and measure stress, similar to what we are used to in classic COT analysis. When there's a commercial bullish extreme, that's usually a hint of a bottom. When we have a bearish extreme, that's usually a hint of a top. There are a couple of signal types when the commercial reaches an extreme, either a bullish or a bearish. Then we get these yellow diamonds above or below the candlestick to signal us that there's something going on. If there's an extreme in speculators, then that is actually shown. It's not really clear here, but here it's definitely more visible. The candlestick changes color to blue. Now this is a 4-hour candlestick, but it is called the Intraday Indicator. So let me just jump over to an hourly chart over here. Even on this hourly chart, you can see the signals pointing some great opportunities on both the bullish and the bearish side of things happening. We can go further deep. This is a 15-minute candlestick chart. You can go down to a 5-minute world. I think it's a tool that can really supplement commitments of traders analysis very, very efficiently, helping you identify the best entry and exit points. Moving on to our next market, we've got to talk about crude oil. I pointed out last week in the review on the 23rd Commitments of Traders report that with regard to crude oil, we have, of course, the Brent and the WTI. I'd be very, very cautious just blindly taking this on its own. Please take your time, open up the crude oil, the WTI crude, to see what's going on over there, because it's definitely showing a very different picture there. So this is the Brent. We have an all-time Commitments of Traders extreme in large speculators net position, also in commercials. So that means that the entire history of COT data, we have never seen traders at these levels. Okay, that's what's the data showing us. Now you can go back and see something similar over here. This was a bearish extreme, a very successful one, I'd say. So this one example seems to be one that was successful. We have a bearish extreme over here without much of a reaction. Maybe it halted this rally or decreased the slope of it. We have a bullish COT extreme somewhere over here, stays there as the market's coming further down. We have a bearish extreme just around that top. So overall, I'd say we may see this market show a top, but because the WTI crude is not there, and what I was just talking about with regard to tensions building up in the Middle East. I'd be, again, very cautious on just, blindly taking this bearish COT Extreme signal. This can easily continue on for weeks before the market actually reaches its top. So it's a good signal, but maybe a little bit early for us to act upon. Moving on to our next market, feeder cattle, all-time commitments of traders reporting extreme in both commercials and large speculators net positions. So once again, this is the entire history of COT data on feeder cattle, an unquestionable bearish COT Extreme. Okay, so there is absolutely no question that this is a bearish COT Extreme and that we are expecting the market to react to that. So naturally, commercials are there to hedge their business activities. They're like, okay, prices are great. I'm going to sell a couple of contracts to lock in those profits on my agricultural business. So who knows? Is this going to reach a level that we call the commercial capitulation? If commercials start getting margin calls, and this would force them to close their net short positions, further fueling the rally. We'll see. I don't remember or don't recall seeing anything like that in livestock markets. It's mainly something that I've been witnessing in soft markets, cotton, cocoa, coffee. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen. Moving on to our last market, silver, 275 report extreme in a large speculators net position. So very, very significant extreme, suggesting that we may see silver cooling down in the next couple of weeks ahead of us. You can see what happened to silver at these levels in the past. So relative bearish extremes have been successful in predicting the decline coming afterwards. So it's something that I would keep in mind if you are in this market. We may just have to wait a couple more weeks and month before silver actually continues its rally. That is going to be all for this review. Of course, there's so much to do here at COTBase.com when it comes to the Commitments of Traders report. The whole service is built around this wonderful tool. Once again, don't forget our summer deals. We've got a bunch of great indicators, all born from this wonderful data. And once again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment underneath the video or send us an email to info@cotbase.com. Thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Goodbye.